Hello and welcome to National Focus. I am Octavia Prosper. In the headlines, Jazz and Creole lineup has been presented. The Ministry of Housing hosts training of trainers workshop, and Dominica to host Jean-Pierre Caribbean on the 16th Youth Netball Championship. The details of the headline stories and more when we return.
I love the freedom when I'm out there. Simply put, the worries from shore, none of that out there. And it's my daily bread. I learned it from my dad. My dad is one of the senior guys here who catch the biggest fish around here. And he's top with the red snappers. It's a family thing. I'm the only one fishing right now in the family. Just keeping it going. I enjoy bringing them up, man. Sometimes you have a yellowfin tuna, 400 pounds. Man, let me tell you, that's just a joy out there. I enjoy going out there and just holding the big fish. I don't lift weights, I lift fish. The morning of my fishing trip, I would get up, make a little spiced tea. Then I come down here. I have my GPS, which most fishermen are supposed to have that. Normally I prepare the day before, because whenever you're going out there, you must have ice. Ice is a must for preservation of the fish. So I always make sure I have everything the day before. My fish represents me, and I bring good quality fish ashore simply because the restaurants themselves, they have to show a quality product. Tourism and agriculture go hand in hand. That's what I think. We're all connected. It's like a big machine, and I'm just so proud to be a part of it. My name is Brandon Carlisle, and tourism is my business.
Earthquakes can happen at any time. Know what to do to protect yourself.
The most important thing to do during an earthquake is to stay calm. At the first sign of the earth shaking, if you are in a building, stay inside and away from windows and glass doors.
Drop, cover, and hold on. Drop under a heavy desk or table. Cover your head and torso, and hold on to the furniture.
If you can't get under something strong, cover your face and head with your arms and crouch in an inside corner of the building.
Do not rush for exits. Do not use elevators. A message from the Office of Disaster Management and the partnership between UNDP, CDMA, OCHA, IFRC, and funded by European Union Civil Protection and Humanitarian Aid. Prepare Caribbean.
Welcome back. The lineup of artists to perform at the 2023 Jazz and Creole Festival has been launched. Alia Martin has more in this report.
The anticipated lineup for the 12th edition of Jazz and Creole has been released. Jazz and Creole has always been known as a marketable event to welcome patrons to Dominica from across the world, more specifically the French territories. It is a family-oriented event with a fusion of jazz and Creole music, exquisite foods and culture. This event was conceptualized in 2010 and is hosted annually except in 2020 and 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Jazz and Creole returned in 2022 and is expected to be even bigger this year. The concept of the celebration this year is Welcome to Portsmouth, the land of Jazz and Creole.
We have now given Portsmouth the tag of the home of Dominica's Jazz and Creole. We are very pleased that this festival, both the main stage and the fringe events, have been embraced by the local population and that they continue to support the town of Portsmouth. I certainly want to encourage all residents that are going to jazz to invite a friend from overseas to come into Dominica to experience the line at Fort Shirley. Certainly the vibe at jazz is something to be experienced. Of course, we'll be looking out for the fashionistas and the outfits at main stage.
Here's what patrons can expect from this year's Jazz and Creole Festival.
Welcome to Portsmouth. Come join us on April 30 at the Cabritz National Park in Dominica for Jazz and Creole 2023. Jumpstart the festivities with Dominica's premier dance band, the Swinging Stars. Savor the authentic jazz performances from Dominica's best jazz musicians, the Island Jazz Collective. Then it's time to soak in the amazing voice of Haitian American songstress Felicia Ross. All the way from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, experience the energetic performance of the hip-hop duo Black Violin. Closing the curtains, we take it local. Dominica's youngest and the baddest, the Signal Band.
Yeah, something stronger than preacher man, deeper than religion bless.
Visit DominicaFestivals.com for tickets and event information. Circle the date, April 30. It's Jazz and Creole in the Nature Island, Dominica.
Early bird tickets went on sale as of Tuesday evening and has since been sold out. Jazz and Creole 2023 is carded for April 30 with a dress code entitled Rainforest Fantasy. Alia Martin for the Government Information Service.
The Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, in collaboration with the Climate Resilience Execution Agency for Dominica, CRED, hosted a training for the Trainers Workshop today, March 22, 2023. Permanent Secretary within the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development is Dr. Kira Paul. She says the workshop was aimed at ensuring that individuals who are actively involved in the construction of safe homes across the island are compliant with the building codes.
The Government of Dominica committed to ensure that families and households are returned to safe and inclusive and resilient homes following our experience of Hurricane Maria. Part of that journey requires us to build the capacity to ensure that the persons who are involved the professionals really who are involved in the built environment are well equipped and are compliant, of course, to the building codes. The OECS building codes of 2015 has been revised.
Chief Executive Officer for CRED Dominica, Francine Barron, says it is important for Dominica's building sector to be aware of the updated building codes.
Under our Climate Resilience Recovery Plan, we have identified 20 targets that Dominica wants to reach by 2030. 2 of those relate to zero fatalities from extreme weather events and 90% of our housing structures built or retrofitted to resilient building codes. Now, after Hurricane Maria, we would have adopted the OECS building codes, and it is important for us to all be aware of what is in those building codes. There are a number of improvements to regulations for our building sector. So it includes, for example, better safety on site. It includes more frequent inspections by the physical planning department. It includes having climate change adaptation practices included in designs of buildings, and a number of other requirements.
The Jean Pierre Caribbean Under-16 Youth Netball Championship will commence this weekend in Dominica. The Netball Association, in collaboration with the Government of Dominica, will host 6 Caribbean territories at the upcoming Jean Pierre Caribbean Under-16 Youth Netball Championships, scheduled for March 24 to 29 at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium. After 4 months of preparation, a final 12-member team is set to represent Dominica at the tournament. Minister for Sports, Honorable Oscar George, highly anticipates the future of netball in Dominica.
Last year, we supported the ECCB OECS netball series. And in that series, we supported with over $350,000 to ensure that we have direct support to the association and also to build the amenities required for netball. And now we are here again hosting another netball competition right here at Windsor Park Stadium. Dominica is now becoming the netball capital of the Caribbean. And I personally believe that. And from what I saw last competition and what I expect to see in this coming competition, I know that everyone will regard us as the place for netball in the Caribbean. And one of the things I mentioned is that when you're doing well, everyone tries to bring you down. So when you're doing well, you have to continue doing well. You have to keep the momentum going. And this is one of the mandates we at the ministry have given the sports division and also the Netball Association going forward.
The Caribbean Youth Netball Championship, named after international Trinidadian netballer Jean Pierre, started in 1998 and is held in various Caribbean territories each year. 16 Caribbean countries are eligible to participate in the championship. However, 6 countries will compete in this year's tournament. Minister George advised Dominica's national under-16 netball team on the importance of perseverance in their sport and discipline and encouraged parents to allow their children to participate in a sport.
I want to say to you, netballers here today, that hard work pays off. You must be dedicated, committed, and enthusiastic when it comes to the sport of netball. This is the only way you will get the results that you're looking for. I want to encourage all parents across Dominica to allow their students to participate in sporting activities. The benefits of being actively involved in sports far outweighs any potential negative impacts, if there is any.
The Jean Pierre Caribbean Under-16 Youth Netball Championship will feature teams from Barbados, Cayman Islands, Grenada, St. Lucia, Trinidad and Tobago, and host country, Dominica. Speaker of the House of Assembly, Honorable Joseph Isaac, says it should not be long before members of Parliament are allowed the option to deliver their contributions in Creole. Julian Morris has more in this report.
Currently, the rules of the House only allow for members' contributions to be made in English, the official language. Currently, any language used in Parliament other than English must be translated.
Would you be wanting to do that, Speaker?
Yes, but I'm the chairman of the Standing Orders Committee, and I'm suggesting to you that I think at our first meeting it will be brought up.
Yes.
In a formal way.
And then you think within this session that we may
yes,
see that
definitely.
Creole be able to be spoken in the...
Because there is the support already. The Prime Minister have said it, members of the government side have said it, members on the opposition side for many years. Even when I was in the House as a proponent for it, you know, so when I was the parliamentary representative, that is, because now I'm still in the House, you know.
Yeah.
So I see no problem with it. I think it is a progressive step and also is a step to reflect our culture.
The Speaker believes it's really a question of Kalinago and the African people appreciating and taking greater pride in their culture. At the last sitting of Parliament, member for the Grand Bay constituency, Honorable Dr. Vince Henderson, was asked to translate statements he made in Creole. In response, the member chose to withdraw instead, as in his view, he should be able to speak Creole freely in the House of Assembly. The Speaker says he does not expect any opposition to the idea of speaking Creole in the House of Assembly.
The situation is that in the House, you can only speak formally English, according to the rules. And according to the rules, if you speak a different language, you have to interpret. I think this is retrogressive. And I think there's the support of the leader of the House with the Prime Minister and the opposition leader. So I think that's on our future agenda, very near future. I think we should be pushing it. I don't think we'll get any opposition, you know, or resistance to actually pushing it and ensuring that members of the House can speak Creole language freely.
He says the matter will be placed on the agenda of the Standing Orders Committee and brought to Parliament at the soonest. He says the rules must be adhered to, and as a result, the House will have to go back to the Standing Orders.
Within the Standing Orders, we'll make an amendment to the rule that refer to the language.
The whole House or the Standing Orders Committee?
No, the Standing Orders Committee first. So the Standing Orders Committee, it could happen both ways. Either one side of the House, which for example the government side, could bring an amendment to the House for approval.
Yes.
Or the Standing Orders Committee can meet and make recommendations to the House and present a report to the House with suggested amendment, and the House can adopt the report and or the amendment suggested by the Standing Orders.
Okay.
So we could do it either way.
The Speaker believes achieving this will demonstrate unity in appreciation of our culture. Julian Morris for the Government Information Service.
You're watching National Focus. More when we return. Welcome back. Government continues to prioritize investment in the development of geothermal energy. Daryl Teet reports.
The government of Dominica has prioritized investment in developing geothermal energy in an effort to supply homes and businesses with clean and continuous energy. This is aimed at reducing our energy import bill and to allow us to be energy independent and power our future economic growth. Geothermal energy is a type of renewable energy taken from the Earth's core. It comes from heat generated during the original formation of the planet and the radioactive decay of materials. This thermal energy is stored in rocks and fluids in the center of the Earth. The geothermal reservoir, which exists in the Roseau Valley, is believed to have a power generation capacity which far exceeds the needs of the local market for the foreseeable future. Due to its underground location, it is basically weatherproof, fully renewable, and contains near zero emissions. Investments in geothermal infrastructure last for decades, requiring only routine maintenance. Geothermal energy is safe, as drilling takes place in a reservoir and not a volcano. There are three components of a complete geothermal project, and they are the production and reinjection wells, the power plant, and connection to the electricity grid. Thus far, 2 production wells have been drilled in Loda, and drilling of a reinjection well is currently ongoing. The results obtained in the production wells are quite encouraging. With the development of geothermal energy to power Dominica's electricity grid, there will no longer be the need for diesel for generation under current operating conditions. This will result in the elimination of the fuel surcharge on our electricity bills, while allowing government to negotiate the lowest possible tariffs, further reducing electricity rates. And while adverse and severe weather events has caused some delays, geothermal development in Dominica is currently at a key stage with only positive results expected.
The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy, in collaboration with WASP Caribbean, Dexia and local supermarkets, hosted a post-harvest management training for white potato farmers. The training, which took place today at the Goodwill Parish Hall, covered the post-handling of potatoes, distribution and marketing, and the benefits of quality management from producers to consumers. Countries Coordinator for the OECS WASP Caribbean Inc. is Dr. Nadia Paquette Anselm.
WASP Caribbean and the Sustainable Agriculture in the Caribbean project has recognized white potatoes as a possibility and a formidable possibility for, of course, economic empowerment of women and youth and white potato farmers in general. I'm elated to stand here today because I think our work, not only as propelled during my earlier days, but as SAC, and of course the participation of Dexter and the Ministry of Agriculture and you farmers is not in vain. I think over the years we've seen the growth of the sector. We are seeing, of course, the transformation and inclusion of more young persons, more women, and the extension of white potato growth and production, not only in the southern part of the country, but almost entirely in the entire country. So it's really a day that we should be glad in. And I also want to recognize the fact that, of course, that at the end of the day, we can say that this subsector is contributing economically to our own prosperity and our livelihoods.
General Manager for Dominica Export and Import Agency Dexia, Ms. Paula Platsko, says this season farmers will benefit from an increase in the value of white potatoes.
Farmers during this season will receive an improved price of $1.50 per pound for white potatoes. This exemplifies the government's policy objective of creating livelihood support opportunities through farming. Through Dexia, government is also subsidizing the storage of the white potato harvest in the amount of approximately $128,000. These efforts by the government to build the white potato sector is timely as we continue to see the global shocks of increasing prices and logistics bottlenecks for delivery of food items.
Director of Agriculture, Mr. Ricky Brumant, shared some positive recommendations with farmers.
Continue doing what we do. We need you in this country. You are the forefront of having a healthy nation. You are forefront of realizing incomes and foreign exchange earnings. And you are the forefront of ensuring, of course, our nation is very, very healthy.
A donation of crates from WASP Caribbean was also presented to the potato farmers to assist with operations on their farms. Octavia Prosper for the Government Information Service. Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy with specific responsibility for development of community agro-enterprises, Honorable Akia Joseph, is satisfied with the ongoing Meet the Farmers tours. Over the past few weeks, the Ministry of Agriculture has been meeting with farmers and fisherfolk across the island to understand some of their needs and challenges.
We did not have a space at the Ministry of Agriculture before. We did not have anybody responsible specifically for that sector. And so now that I have basically become the mother of this sector, I take pride in ensuring that I get to know who my agro-processors are, right? So we have been for quite a few weeks now, probably about more than 5 weeks, 6, probably 8. We have been on a drive to get to know these processors, and farmers are a very essential sector in the agro-enterprise industry, and so they play a very pivotal role in agro-processing, because they provide us with the raw materials that we need to run our businesses.
Honorable Joseph outlined 2 of the daily challenges the farmers are faced with.
Does my involvement in agriculture mean I'm going to go through some of the same challenges as some of the older farmers went through? And will it be profitable? Will I be able to feed and clothe and educate and house my children or my family? And secondly, what specialized tools, technologies, techniques, and training can I actually access to allow me to be more efficient and effective and sustainable?
Honorable Joseph added, though challenges may exist, agriculture has no boundaries and encouraged the youth to try their hand.
It is a source of generating income. It is instilling pride and excitement, and it's basically allowing your youthful creative energies to flow. Like, in agriculture, there are no boundaries. Anything you want to do in agriculture, you can do it. You can go into hydroponics, aquaponics, you can go into agro-processing, you can go into pepper planting, you can make it yours. There are no boundaries. And so whenever I tell them that, they tend to ask themselves, what am I waiting for to engage in agriculture?
The Discover Dominica Authority has partnered with Martinican filmmaker Patrick Bosselin to launch film long ago in the Caribbean, Ata Luta. The film, which was released in 2019, is a 1 hour and 30-minute long documentary focusing on life in the West Indies from 1860 to 1960.
I am filmmaker and make documentary from now 43 years. And I receive more 50 awards in the world for my work, different documentaries. And today, I think it's important to present you, to speak about my new documentary, En temps longtemps, in Creole, in the past. It's a documentary, a long documentary, so 1 hour, 30 minutes, and speak about the life in the past. One century.
The Discover Dominica Authority will release the viewing and streaming arrangements at a later date.
Discover Dominica Authority, through the film office, will organize a screening of the film at a later date. So we usually do that in partnership with either Alliance Française or the University of the West Indies. So we will stream the film, invite the public to come in to view the film, and also have the filmmaker, well, this time it would be via Zoom because he won't be on island, to answer any questions that persons may have about the film. The film also has subtitles in English as well, so persons will be able to read if they cannot understand the original language of the film.
DDA extended their gratitude to Mr. Bosselin for always including the Nature Isle of the Caribbean.
A very special thank you to Mr. Bosselin, who is always willing and ready to partner with us when he launches new films on the Caribbean, on life in the Caribbean, on some aspect of life in the Caribbean where Dominica is featured. So we just really want to say a special thank you to Mr. Bosselin. We thank him for his passion, we thank him for his dedication, and we thank him for always coming to Dominica to present his films to us.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here on the GIS News Production team, I am Octavia Prosper. Thanks for watching and stay safe.